So Brad, what are some of the trends we're seeing in the US at the moment?
There's a large focus on operating models, both within businesses and HR, and that's largely driven, one, by cost and efficiency. There's a renewed focus on lower cost locations. The second piece is obviously around technology. So how can firms use technology and specifically AI to reduce costs, but also increase employee engagement and efficiency. And then the third is really around agility. So I think a new market norm is constant change. So how can organizations embed agility into their operating models to make sure they can react faster in the market? We're working with a lot of US organizations. What are you seeing from a European perspective?
I think we're seeing a lot of US organizations try and globalize, try and be a bit smarter in terms of how they use resource. Certainly pull back some of the COEs, going more stateside. But what we're seeing is an investment in business partnering capabilities where they can really provide expertise, knowledge, and understanding of different geographies and geographical challenges. So be it Europe, be it Asia, be it kind of EMEA. So that's been a big theme. I think we're seeing a lot of organizations work on process improvements. So particularly when acquisitions haven't been fully integrated, we're looking at kind of streamlining of a new HRIS, deploying more of a standard terms and procedures across markets. So that is swallowing up a lot of resource and upgrading capability. So maybe reducing headcount, but actually investing that money on more senior HR kind of capability. Definitely an appetite for US organizations to hire people who've got prior track records working with US companies, probably people who can navigate, understand, who can stakeholder manage and deal with transatlantic relationships. So that's been a real theme. I think finally we're seeing probably a return of that role that looks after everything outside of the US, which had kind of disappeared for a while as we were seeing geographies become more kind of regionally focused. We're seeing a lot of, certainly in consumer goods and products, hiring international markets roles that kind of look after emerging markets, and I say emerging markets in quite a broad term. So they're really exciting jobs for people coming out of Asia, coming out of Europe, who have got the toolkit of working across really difficult and different markets. So I think that's a real kind of interesting piece. And then finally, a big appetite of, have candidates got an appetite to relocate to the States eventually? So probably, 50% of the time when we're working on some of the more senior mandates with US clients, the question will come, how do they feel about an eventual move to the US? We're trying to build talent capability. We want to bring somebody in who's got markets experience that eventually will come to HQ. They're all nuances of working with US clients, but they're exciting opportunities for really strong HR talent. So we're seeing a lot of really exciting UK, European businesses investing in the US, growing in the US. What advice would you give to those organizations on how to navigate the US market when hiring HR talent?
One thing which is pretty simple and comes up a lot is compensation. So compensation's often different to European locations. We can help navigating that and provide benchmarks, but having an understanding that is going to be different and sometimes higher. The US isn't the US, it's almost a collection of 50 different countries. So legislation does vary quite significantly state by state. So understanding what the footprint looks like or what the expansion plan is, I think important in terms of capturing a skill set that can navigate different geographies. It's important to understand what the sell is. So what's going to appeal to the US market might not necessarily appeal to the European market. What is your employer brand in the US geography, and what will appeal to them might not appeal to candidates we're looking at in Europe. But there is an attraction to candidates to work for global organizations, especially at the moment. So I think that's very interesting and something that seems to be increasing as people look to gain that international experience.